Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here, we are here, we are alive, we are blessed, and we are doing some amazing things. So we are back for day number 9. Day number 9. For those of you that have been going strong with me, knowing that for the last now today makes 9 days, I have been going live every day consistently at 7 a.m. Central Time. Today I'm closer to 7 a.m. Shout out to me. And just really thankful that I am here, that I am capable of just being obedient to what God is calling me to do in this particular season. So, some of you might be brand new, and I want to say welcome to this journey. So, this journey is 21 days of living and thriving as Miss Inspiration, meaning reclaiming the person that I am in every aspect of my life, showing up and using the gifts that God has given me to use to inspire, to help activate healing, to teach and talk about purpose, because these are things that are so critical and they are topics that are not being discussed for the masses. And I used to do this quite often and I fell off and life starts to life. But when you know what you're supposed to do and you just got to go out there and do it, right? That's just is basically the reality. You have to go out there and do it. For now, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. If this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make yourself comfortable, get you some coffee, some tea, and if you might be watching a little bit later, you can go ahead and sip your little wine as well. But I just want you to know that I'm thankful that you're here, and share this message if you feel as though that this could be beneficial to someone. Same thing on Facebook. Share this message. Also hashtag replay. If this is if you're catching a replay, you're not here live with me, which is totally understandable, right? Because it's an early morning and it's a Saturday, right? I know Saturdays are typically the times that most people sleep in a little bit late, but I said, let me continue to show up. Let me continue to be here with you all, because I know that someone out there. Hey, good morning, Suzanne. We got Suzanne watching with us live on YouTube. Shout out to you for being here. Hope this message resonates with you and it connects with you. So for those of you that have not been able to, kind of tune in and figure out what are we talking about, I'm gonna throw a clip of one of the most recent. This is the message from yesterday. So tune into this clip and then we'll jump right into the message once we get through this clip. I know I was raised. Was y'all raised this way? Put in the comment if you was raised this way. You were told never to leave home unless you had enough money to get back home, right? If you were told that, drop a 2 in the comment. If you were ever told, don't you ever leave this house unless you got money to get back home. Don't you ever leave this house unless you got money to take care of yourself or to feed yourself. This is what we were told. That day, God said, no, you got exactly, I think at the time the MTA was $2.75. Ironically, I had exactly $2.75. Not a dollar more, right? Not a dollar more. Okay. I didn't have a penny more. Paul said, to this day. That's right. I had exactly $2.75. So I'm listening to what my mom is saying over here, and my mom is like, don't you leave that house without no money. And I'm hearing God say, go, I got you. So at that time, that morning when I poured into that video and people tapped in and they got the message, God was pouring into someone wherever they were, and God was pouring into them to pour into me. That's right. God will pour into someone else to help you to get to where he needs you to be. So let's talk about today. So today's topic this is the journal prompt. So again, this is the method. I share with you these 21 journal prompts. So if you watch every video, at the beginning of each video, you will see So Suzanne said, I'm gonna just throw this up there real quick. Suzanne said, I am so old. I remember my grandmother making sure I had a dime. Yes, we had to have, I remember that. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 40. And we literally would, like my mom would give us for your snack after school. But she also would give me 2 quarters. Make sure you keep them 2 quarters in your wallet just in case you got to make a phone call. So yes, we all learned that one way or another. So thank you. I love this. I love the engagement. Yes. Right. So oh, you're 53. You young. You young. You over there. You young. Thank you for being here though. Thank you for speaking and engaging. I love that. So yeah, so at the beginning of each video, I have these 21 prompts that's going to help me go through these 21 days. And so today we're talking about the power of your voice, right? We all have power, we all have a gift, right? So in my case, my primary gift that God needs for me to use is my gift of speaking. My gift of speaking, which is correlated to the calling of being a teacher. So I am professionally a teacher. I'm an educator, but I also understand that, like within the fivefold ministry, teachers is a part of that, and He gave me that gift. But you might be different. Everyone is different. So, but your voice can look at it as your gift is the voice, and however God is speaking to you, or you're feeling like you need to be using His voice. That's what I want you to focus on. And so I know that a lot of times, and this latter part is important, even when I don't feel ready. How many times have you known that you needed to do something, but you didn't feel ready? Just type a one in the chat. Have you ever been in a situation where you have, like, like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I know this is something that we're supposed to be doing, but I just don't feel ready. I don't feel like I'm qualified enough. I don't feel like I'm good enough. This could be in any aspect. We got Suzanne with a one. We got someone over here on Instagram. Shout out to you that's watching on Instagram. We got a one. So people understand this is a very common problem that we have in society. So many of us are not doing the great things that we're supposed to do because we just keep feeling like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not called and I'm not qualified. But you are called. You are qualified. You do have the ability to do this. You just have to tap into that power that's within you. You have to understand that if God's calling you to do this, to say this, to be present somewhere, that He's giving you that power, right? Oh, okay. Hold on. We got someone. We got a TR member. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on your acceptance to Tulsa Remote. I'm also a Tulsa Remoter, so that's probably how we got connected. But thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah, right. And I felt the same way, Suzanne, when I was accepted into the program. Like, I knew I was ready, but I wasn't sure if I was ready. But I was a lot more like, I know I'm ready. I was ready to get out of my city, so that was really my biggest issue. But I think about the moment that really comes up for me when I think about this: not feeling ready, not feeling qualified, didn't think people would listen to me, was when I wrote my book, Dear Single in Love. Now, I thought I had a copy of my book in here, and I think it's in my spare bedroom. But I have a book, Dear Single in Love, and that book, I wrote that book in 2018. Right, God started to speak to me about healing, about just healing it as a single woman, and all of these different things that I was going through at that time. And it really started because God started to speak to me about being a wife in the beginning of 2016. And at that time, the person that I was with, I never really had a desire in my 20s. Like, I wasn't that little girl that grew up playing house or preparing, having the wedding, the fake wedding. I've never had that desire. In my 20s, I never had a desire to get married. So in my early 30s, at 30, 31, God started to speak to me about that. And I was just like, why are you telling me this? I did not feel ready. I was like, me a wife? Like, I don't know about that one. And so it really just it was heavy on me. And then he was like, I'm starting my healing journey. So I'm healing not only my finances, because at that time money was funny. I'm understanding my purpose, growing into my purpose. And now you're telling me to write a book for single women that are also or should be healing, and pretty much giving them a guide of what they should be focusing on in their own healing journey. That was a lot of pressure. That was a lot of pressure. And I didn't feel called, because in my mind, like the people that I write in these books, when we go to Barnes and Nobles, just you shopping on Amazon, these people, when you read their bio, they are psychologists, they're therapists, they are, they're studying these relationships, interpersonal relationships, intrapersonal relationships. So I'm like, why would anyone listen to me, God? Literally, that was my question. Why would they listen to me? I don't feel like this is something that I'm qualified for. You sure? I can work with someone. I was willing to ghostwrite for someone, because I'm like, maybe he wants me to ghostwrite it, and someone else is out there wanting to do this but don't have the time. Like, I was willing to really do as many different things, because I didn't feel that I was the best person. I did not feel that I was the most qualified person. And the more that I was speaking at that time, as I reflect, I started to speak more about healing. That's how my coaching program, when I do one-on-one coaching, is called Healing for Purpose. And we focus on any aspect of healing that the person needs. So everyone has something that they need to heal from, but it's not going to be the same thing for every single person. Some people might want to start with healing of the body, right? Healing of the body. I won't say is the easier one, but it is the one that most people are in favor of trying before they try anything else, right? But then we also have to have a healing of our relationships with other people and ourselves and God. So many people have still hurt feelings and hurt trauma from past relationships, mommy daddy issue, family issues. People don't know how to, mend and build healthy relationships. And a lot of people just don't have a relationship with God at all. So those were the things that I was like, okay, God, that makes sense. And I can help them through those process. But I was not ready to write this entire book. But the more that I started to focus on that book and writing it and just getting the clarifications from God, like, okay, it's not that I'm not education wise qualified. You're qualifying me, because all of this information was coming directly from God. It wasn't something that I was writing. Because even some days I'll sit back and read my own book, and I'm like, dang, that's a good point. Like, I'll read it as if I'm not the person that wrote it. I'm just reading it as an actual book, because I know, like, okay, there's something right now that I need that's going to be within these pages. And when I go back and I read it, I'm just like, wow. And I remember one time I said to myself, like, you doubted yourself when you had to write this book? Like, how could you doubt this? Because if you are connected and God is the center of your life, and someone talked about that yesterday in a video I seen, and I'm not going to go into that, but he's the center of my life and he's giving me the instructions. I'm being obedient. Why wouldn't this make sense? Right? It just started to make more sense for me. And so I had to really just step into that. And I had to realize that I couldn't keep waiting until I felt ready. Right. So many people, well, I'm going to wait until I feel ready, to put it out. That's the one thing that we have to stop doing. Okay. I really, really have to stop doing that. Let's see. Let's add, well, I felt like God woke me up early to see this live, because he's been nudging me to start a YouTube channel. Oh, Suzanne, you are in the right place. You are in the right place. That's what I do, Suzanne. You are in the right company. Yes, sit down. Come on, come on. Get that water, get that tea. I got my coffee over here. You are in the right place, Suzanne, because that's what I talk about. That's what I help other people to do, to activate that. Right? The one thing that's been very consistent, and I don't know, this might end up being like a t-shirt or something, but one thing that God has said early in this week. So we're on day 9. And God, because you often hear people say, oh, inspiration. No one needs any more inspiration. They don't need any more inspiration. They need, they need concrete. So many people need a lot of inspiration in order for activation to happen. Write that in the comments, somebody. I need somebody to write that in the comments. Some people need inspiration in order for activation to happen, right? Some of us need that. We need that person that's going to come. They need a miss inspiration to come into their life in order for them to activate something, to confirm something. See, I show up and I never know what God is going to do. I show up just out of obedience. I don't show up for my glory. I don't show up because I want to be seen and heard. I show up because I understand someone out there is going to need this in order for them to take action. And for you to say that God woke you up early this morning to see this live because he's been nudging you to do two things. Start that YouTube channel, confirm, let's get it started. And then to write your story to help others. Right? Thank you, Suzanne. I need inspiration for activation to shine God's glory. Come on. We having church here on a Saturday morning now. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. That's what you need. This is why I show up. Trust me, when God told me to do this 21 days, I was like, the first few days, it was just me. Me showing up, me speaking to the camera. And I'm just like, all right, God, I understand. You're going to send someone here who's going to need this. And I'm thankful that you are here. I'm thankful that you're tapping in. I'm hoping to take some notes down because this is going to help you to remember, like, okay, I have a voice, right? Let's go back to, I'm having a good time this morning, right? I have a voice and I don't feel ready. So now it's time for me to talk to God about what is it? Is it the illusion of being ready, right? Because so many times that's what it is. It's just an illusion. We have this illusion of, I'll be ready when. How many times have we done that? I'll be ready when I think about YouTubers. So since you mentioned YouTube, Suzanne, I'm speaking to you, and anyone that's tapping in, it might be relevant to you. We tend to say things like, well, I'll be ready when I get a new computer. I'll be ready when I get a fancy camera. I'll be ready when I get a tripod. Like they make a whole list of all the things that they'll do it when they're ready and they start to identify all of these items. There was a young lady that I was really close with at one time, and she wanted to do she had a YouTube channel. And when she did go live, because of the content that she was putting out, people were showing up. But she was putting all of these limitations on herself. And I said to her, go back and the people that you admire on YouTube, go back to their early videos. Go back to when they first started. Like, I want you to study. Don't listen to the content. Look at it as research. I'm a researcher. So I research these things. I will go back to that person's first 5 videos. You're going to notice nothing is glamorous. Nothing. The lights are not. Oh, they don't have, the audio might be a little crappy. When you go back to following what those people did in the beginning, you will notice that they just continue to get ready while they were doing it. They will continue to do all those small things that's going to be impactful. That they're like, okay, Suzanne, you might be my new best friend, Suzanne. I hope you know this. So Suzanne said, I think I'll feel ready when I lose some weight and get a new phone with a better camera. It's the lies of the enemy, I think. Suzanne, you're in the right space. Let me tell you that. And I'll say this, the reason why you're in the right space is because I struggle with that too. You don't know me, but back in 2012, I had weighed almost 400 pounds. And everything really started from that journey. And that journey started with me. Good morning, Jesus Black Man. I think I know your name, but good morning. And I had lost all this weight naturally, right? 150 pounds I lost working out, changing my eating, embracing a healthier lifestyle. Kept that weight off, kept off over 100 pounds for 7 years. fell into a depression after my second miscarriage that almost ended my life. And it was very hard for me to get back on. Fast forward, the last time that I was able to lose weight with no problems was in 2022. Hey Doc, good morning, Bola. Was in 2022. That was the last time I was able to lose weight with no problems. And if you ever pay attention, if you go on my YouTube channel, maybe YouTube might not be the best place. If you go to my Facebook channel, you would notice a decline, right? Because I started to put weight back on, and I also didn't want to be seen, right? I was trying to hide. I was trying to hide in plain sight because I was still active on social media. And I remember I had someone reach out to me last 2023 before I moved, and they were like, "We need you to come to the church and speak to the members about healthy living." And I'm like, and I'm looking at and this is like my spiritual mom. So I'm like, Ma. She was like, "Okay, what's your point?" I was like, "Ma, I gained weight." She was like, "Okay, and?" She was like, "You still have the knowledge. You still have the information. You still have the resources. You still have everything that these people need. Whatever the struggles is that you're dealing with." And at that time, I didn't even know that I had a struggle. I just thought it was my lack of motivation. I'm not there. And I showed up, even got booked to do another event at that same church, and got booked to do a private event for someone who was doing like their own health and wellness. And I was just like, I could have said no because I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel ready to get back up on stages and be visible because of where I was at. And you know how many people, when I went back the second time, how many people came up to me, "Oh my gosh, you made me go get a juicer. You made me go get a blender. I make my own smoothies now because I wrote a book. I have an ebook for smoothies and juices." And they were like, I have this stuff. So, I've been doing it. My A1Cs are dropping. The wisdom, the knowledge was still there. They didn't care about how I looked. And it wasn't until last year when I moved to Tulsa that I found out I have hypothyroidism, which is causing me to not have the ability to easily lose the weight that I was. And I learned that a lot of the stuff that the way that I had drastically changed my eating to the point like I was like, if that first 90 days in 2012 going into 2013, those first 90 days, oh, I was strict on myself. Okay. I know Doc had said something. So Doc said weight has been his challenge as well, right? It's a lot of our challenges. We can't let that stop us. We cannot let that stop us from doing what we're called to do. Because the people that God is going to send there, He's going to also. Anytime that I go and I speak, even when I come online, I always ask God to prepare their ears to receive, right? Prepare their ears to receive this information. Don't let them get jaded by the physical. And see, and when I went to the church in 2023, I didn't even know that I was dealing with the health issue because the previous doctors, because all doctors, they don't check everything. They don't test for everything. So it wasn't until when I got to Tulsa, that's when they was like, "Let's check your thyroids." And that was the issue. My thyroid levels don't perform at the level that they need to. So now all the deliciousness that I love called kale and a whole bunch of spinach, I can't eat those in abundance. I really should not eat them at all. It's I had eliminated salt from my diet since 2012. Right? I don't like the taste of salty foods. So because doctors tell us, "Oh, you need to cut back on the salt because you have high blood." I never had high blood pressure, but I was trying to avoid high blood pressure. So I had eliminated something that we didn't realize how important our body needs. So I was now iodine deficient. So if you notice here, I have, oh wait, well, these are iodine shots. drops. I have to now take those because that's what my body is deficient from, which is causing my thyroid to underperform, which is causing for me to have more struggles to lose the weight. So sometimes, that's why I tell people, once I understood that, and I was just like, oh. So a lot of us, it's not really because we're not motivated. It really could be our bodies going against us. But we're going off topic real quick. But I'm glad that you mentioned that, Suzanne. Doc said that, yep, back on his journey now. Absolutely. So am I. Right? Because now I understand I need certain supplements. Now I know what I can't eat. Let me try doing these two, but also go back into working out. Also go back into, doing my steps and getting my weights back into the motion. And believe it or not, Tulsa is really is bad, right? When I went to Medellin, Medellin is a walk-in city, right? You can take Ubers and stuff, but you can get a nice walk-in. And I mean, I was winded some days because Tulsa is a driving city. Like we even have, don't talk about us, right? But we even have drive-through Chinese restaurants. Don't talk about Tulsa. Don't talk about us. But we got drive-through Chinese restaurants. That's how bad it is. And it makes me realize, like, here I have to be intentional about getting up and working out because it's very easy. Someone got a comment. Don't be okay. All right, Suzanne, I'm gonna get back to your comment. Bola, what did I say, Bola? Bola, don't talk about us out here, right? We gotta drive through everything in Tulsa. So I share that because we got to put all of that to the side. If I always tell people, you just keep getting this feeling like you are being called, right? You're being called. God is waking you up. God used to wake me up back in 2015, 2016, and Bola was there. This was back when we had Periscope. We had Blab. Bola, she's my friend. She's on Instagram. She and I used to go live together on Blab and talk about purpose and being intentional living. We had all these platforms, and then Facebook started with Facebook Live. And I used to just because God will wake me up, and I would just be like, whoa. And I would have all these downloads, and I had nothing but journals and all these notes that I was writing. And God would just be like, go live, speak, right? And I would just be like, but God, am I the most qualified? Again, having these same conversations, am I the most qualified person? Are you sure? Is there something else that I can do? Like, you just got to do it. And you can't focus on the physical because the people that God is going to call into your life, they don't care about that. I've shared my story about my weight loss journey. I still have my first email address. I still have to go back and check those emails once in a while because an email will pop up from someone who purchased the book, and because that email is in the book. They purchased the book, they still reaching out, or they read the story somewhere and they found the email and they're like, "Can you help me?" And I remember sending someone a picture and I was like, "Girl, that's how I look right now." And she was like, "Okay, but you can still help me." Like, so we create that sense of ready. And God is like, you're always ready. Right? God is like, you're always ready. So Suzanne said she added, I recently watched Gabby documentary. It says such a desire in me to write about surviving 20 years and two narcissistic relationships made me realize so many young girls in it. Not many people need that. So many people need that. And so many people, we underestimate that. Well, Gabby Rose, she has a documentary, so I don't need to do it, right? We always find an excuse because someone else already put something out there. So we're like, all right, the market is oversaturated because we saw one documentary or we read one book. And God is like, but they don't know your story. They don't know your struggles. It's not the same thing. It's similar. You're in the same genre, but your story is not their story, and their story is not the person who's watching their story either. So we have to understand that there's always going to be space and a place for our voice to be heard. We just got to get out of this illusion of, well, no one is going to listen to me, when I speak. No, speak, share, This is why I do love social media. Social media is great for those reasons. You have a platform already. Are you using your social media to share these things? It doesn't have to be you don't have to write the whole story at one time, but you can put little blurbs. You can have moments where you're like, I remember when da 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 da, and I realized and da da da, and next thing you know, and you will not realize you will be so surprised how many people are gonna comment, oh my gosh, me too. Yo, I needed this. Oh my God. Like people need to hear, we need to hear each other's journeys. So this is why I say when people say to me, why you always online telling your business? Like you always online. I get people do not like that I do this. And I mean this is including friends. I could never do that. People can't be in my business. It's God's business. Do you know how many people don't realize our business is God's business? Because there's a video clip and Cat Williams talks about it. Like if you got through it, that means that there's still something for you to teach about. Right? This is my paraphrase of it. You got through it, so you can teach someone something about it. You can inspire someone just because you got through it and you're still surviving, you're still here. There's so many different ways that our stories can help someone. And sometimes it just might be the first time that that person is hearing it and they might not take action. And we have to also be okay with that because that's what I call you could plant the seed, but baby, you ain't got to water it. So I want you to understand that. I want you to get to that point where you realize, like, God, every time that I tell my story, I'm telling God's business. It's not my business, it's his business because he got me through it. There's so many people out here who do not have faith. They don't have any faith in God whatsoever. And these are even people that go to church every single Sunday. They go to Bible study on Wednesdays, but they don't have any faith in what God can do in their lives. So they need to hear your story because, see, a lot of them don't read the Bible. They read the Bible front, back, front, every verse, every version. So they know those stories. But I know I said the other day, we're in the time where I feel like we are living out the next Bible because these are the next testimonies. If David fought Goliath, guess what? Tanisha had to fight what? If you're able to say, this is what God was able to do for me. He was able to tell me this. He gave me the instructions. He gave whatever that journey is going to look like. Just understand that it's going to activate something in someone else. That's the only reason why I share my journeys. That's the only reason why I go live and I write these books and I have these coaching programs. I do these things because I understand that God knows that someone else out there needs it. And I also understand someone needs a person that I didn't have. See, a lot of everything that I've gone through since 2012, I was the first that went through these things. I was the first that was able to testify in my immediate circle. I didn't have a me. I didn't have a me that showed up and was giving them the inspiration and giving them the teachings of this is what your purpose is. Purpose is probably the only thing that I actually had someone highlight for me, make sense of it, and kind of walk me through that. That was one of my friends who introduced the concept of purpose as far as what my life is, what God is calling me to do. So if it's a book that you're supposed to write and you feel like you're not ready, it's time to start writing it. That YouTube channel, that TikTok channel, get started. You are ready. You don't need a better cell phone. You don't need a better computer. You can go right to Five Below and get you a ring light. You can go right to Five Below and get you a tripod that has extenders, right? You can do all of these different things with what you have and then allow it to grow. But so many times we have to just like, oh, I need a whole production. You ain't got to go out and find no content creation location for you to go, for you to rent out. Start right in your living room. You see here, I got some the IVs. Like I had to create this space in my home because God is like, no, I still need you to show up. Because when we show up, He can show out. We're just vessels. You don't know who is missing out because you're not showing up. You're not doing what you know you're supposed to do. And let me tell y'all this. When we know what we're supposed to do and we don't do it, yeah, if you've been following for the last 9 days, you heard me mention this more than once. When you know what you're supposed to do and you don't do it, it's a sin. It's wrong. So every time that we sit on these messages, ideas, and God is like this, write the book, go live, and you hear it. I've heard it. You know how many times I've heard God speak to me clearly and loudly, and I'm just sitting here like, God, why? I want to sleep in a little bit more, but no one is listening to me. I don't have any cute lipsticks. Like I done ordered some new lipsticks because I was like, all right, I'm gonna be going live. I got me some new lipsticks. I'm just doing the small pieces. There's nothing more that I can do. But I also just have to understand I gotta just keep showing up. Go ahead and cry, because you know what? Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need that. We need to release these things because he's speaking to us. And this is why I can't stand when I hear people say, you know, I only listen to God's voice. But if God is using any of us as a means to get the message to you, why would you ignore it? This is the reason why I truly believe a lot of people are missing out on their blessings because someone told them something and it didn't come from the person that they deemed qualified. You missed your blessing because you didn't feel that I was qualified enough because I didn't go to seminary school, because I wasn't ordained as a pastor or a minister. Baby, I don't want none of those things. You know how many times I have been asked to be ordained as a minister? I'm good. I'll pass. I'm all right. I don't need that. I have enough degrees. God did not tell me to go to seminary school, so I'm not going to go. I understand that this is something that he gave me from a little girl. The first time I ever seen, the first time that I ever seen my words impact people's lives, I was in sixth grade. Sixth grade, God opened up a space. So yeah, you know, when we graduate, we have the valedictorian, we have the salutatorian. There's usually one valedictorian and one salutatorian, right? That's just how it was normally when I was growing up back in Brooklyn. Hey, healthier Herb. God would say that particular year, we had two salutatorians. Who was the second one? Me. I was the second salutatorian. That was the first time that ever happened, at least up until that time. I don't know about after I left. So God created a space for me to speak. I said, sixth grade Tanisha wrote my speech by myself. My teacher, Miss Brown Hall, will never forget her, love her to death. Miss Brown Hall practiced with me because I had a stutter. That's actually one of the reasons why I did not want to be a teacher. Because Miss Brown was trying to get me to be a teacher from sixth grade. And I was looking at her like, no, girl. And Miss Brown practiced with me on my speaking and doing my speech. And I just went up there and I did my speech. I was focused. You know, back then, public speaking, they're telling you like, read it, scan the room, So I did that. I did everything that we had practiced, but I wasn't focused on the audience. When I finished, like my classmates, I don't think they like it, I think it went over their heads, right? And it's okay, we're in sixth grade. But their parents were crying. And I'm just like, why are these grown people crying? And when I got off the stage, my mom is there, she's crying. And I can understand her crying because I'm her baby. Oh my God, her baby just spoke. But I literally now understand that my words have power, even at that young age. I just had to grow into accepting it and stop thinking this false reality of I'll do this when I'm ready. We got people we don't understand we are in desperate times. You don't know what people need. But we all know right now, people need a lot of stuff right now, right? People need a lot. They need a lot of encouragement. They need a lot more, direction on how to have more faith. So I just need to encourage you to just be bold enough and know that you can't wait for that perfect moment. It doesn't exist. You can't wait for, when you lose the weight, when you gain the weight, when your hair grows, the eyebrows are done. Sometimes things are so critical, and the more that we sit and we try to wait, that's more blood on our hands. I don't know which day, because everything is starting to just mesh into each other. But I spoke about how Minister Shanae, another young lady that I met back in Brooklyn, she told me, because I went to her one day and I told her, I said, Shanae, I don't think I could do this anymore. Like, I hear what God is saying. It doesn't make sense to me. Right? I needed at that time, in that space in my life, 2016, 2017, I needed money. So I'm like, and it was like, it got so frustrating because every time I would go to God in prayer, because I was being obedient. All right, God, you said for me to come to you in prayer. All right, so I'm showing up in prayer and I'm coming to you and I'm asking you, can I take this job? And you kept telling me no, because that job, they're paying more. But so God, are you sure? Because they're paying a lot more and it's closer to what I need than the job that you're telling me to stay at. And I didn't see and I didn't understand the vision because we don't know. God knows the end. We don't. We don't know what the end is going to look like. So I went to her and I was like, would I be wrong if I just shut all of this down, shut down the YouTube, take my book down? At the time, I only had the first book, Transition to a Healthier You. Only had that. I was like, and if I shut everything down, would I be wrong? And she was like, girl, you're going to have blood on your hands. I was like, what? I mean, I remember I was in there crying. And I'm like, why would I have to have blood on my hands? And she was like, because every time that you don't get up there and you don't say what you're supposed to say and do what you're supposed to do, and that gets someone to the point where they take their own life or they go out there and hurt someone else because you had the message that could have stopped them from acting irrational. Man, it gets heavy. So I understand why some people don't want to own their power. So Suzanne said, it keeps getting put on my heart that people need to know that they're not alone. And that's exactly what it is. That's all that this is. That's what ministry is supposed to be. We all are supposed to just have our own little form of ministry and showing other people. Yes, we come together. Yes, we fellowship together. We grow together. But at the end of the day, you have something that someone out there is sitting in their room thinking, I'm the only person who's going through this. No one knows what I'm dealing with. And they feel that way because the people that they are around, no one knows how they feel. No one knows what they're going through. But if you're not showing up, they don't know. That's someone out there. There are so many people who are pretty much limited to like 15 to 20 people in their life. And this is how people measure life. No one, you ever hear people say, no one is out here doing that? You know why they say no one is out here doing that? Because the 20 people that they know, none of them are doing that. That's why. Meanwhile, we have 8 billion people on this earth. You know 20. And some of us know less. So yes, the 20 people that you know, none of them know what you're going through. None of them know. No one knew that I don't know anyone in my family that has hypothyroidism. So when people look, I had someone in my family make a little small comment one day, and they was like, I mean, you lost all that weight. Now look at you gained it back. And I said, yeah, I have hypothyroidism. I found out that's the condition. I never heard of that. I never heard anyone go through that. Because 5 to 10 people, maybe 20. But 8 billion people. And so when you start, I'm going to tell y'all, when I started this series, day 1, day 2, probably day 3, it was just me. Every day that I have continued to go live, more people join on Instagram. Shout out to y'all. More people join on YouTube. and people watch the replay on Facebook. People are getting the message. It's coming together. But so many of us don't see the fruit of the results of it because a lot of us, we give up. And this is where I'm guilty. I have been guilty. If I don't see the results that I want, my expectations, I'm like, this isn't working, God. This is not purposeful. I can go off and just do what I want to do. No. The second thing that Suzanne said, and whatever they're going through, others are facing the same. We're so isolated in the world. Exactly, we are. We are very isolated in the world. And it really just stems back to the fact that so many people are just focusing on the 5, 10, 15, 20 people that are in their immediate circle. They forget that there's a whole world out there. And they just got to connect with those people. That's why I do appreciate companies, programs like Tulsa Remote. Because Tulsa Remote put me into a community with like-minded people that are, earlier this year I was in Colombia. I found out about that from someone in Tulsa Remote. I'm building my tribe of like minds. People that understand that we can sit online all day. We can use ChatGPT. We can learn about these different countries and places. But the best teachings, the best experiences is packing up a bag and going. And so I was in that community. So we have to sit and we have to understand. And even when we get into those new spaces, you still got to use that voice. Anytime, there's been times, even when I was there, we're sitting at lunch, we're all talking, and they're like, Tanisha, you're so quiet. Trust me, God is speaking to me. He's like, say this. And I'm sitting there like this. He's like, say that. I'm trying so hard not to say anything. But I had to understand he sent me there for a reason. And then once I start speaking, they're all just like, and I'm just like, why y'all looking at me like that? Like, come on, that's kind of weird. But that's a part of who I am. That's the makeup of what God has made me. And I just had to receive it and embrace it. So the last thing, because we've been on here for 47 minutes. I hope if this is good, drop a heart in the chat if this is good for you. Let me know. Let me know I'm not just out here going crazy, because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I'm loving the engagement. So I appreciate you again for being here with me. But yes, right? So I want to encourage you to ask yourself, what's something that you need to say or do? Because some people, this is to do. You need to do this, okay? But you've been waiting for the perfect moment to say it, or in this case, to do it. Suzanne, thank you for your hearts. I so appreciate that. I'm happy that you're finding value in this, right? So that's what I want you to reflect on this weekend. What is something? And Suzanne, you already have. Oh, we got somebody else seriously speaking. All right. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. We got more people in the party. Yes. Right. What is this something that you need to say or do? Let me change that, because I want you to, if you got to come back to this message, I want you to be able to. Right. So what is it that you are? Right. So what's something that you need to say or do, and you've been just waiting for that perfect moment? You're waiting to get qualified. You're waiting for the qualifications to come along. You're just waiting and you're waiting. And you're like, when this happens, I will be so ready. No. It's time for you to start doing it now. It's time for you to start taking action. And you could take small steps. We don't have to do grand gestures. It doesn't have to be huge. You can start with 5 minutes. If you're supposed to speak and do videos, start with 5-minute videos. Start with, writing different posts, sharing snippets of your journey on social media, and just seeing that it's going to have a ripple effect on someone's life. You're going to open up an opportunity for conversations that people are going to gravitate to, right? They're going to gravitate to that because it's like, I needed this, right? So many times we just don't realize that. So we have, seriously speaking, it says, agree, the time is now. We have to speak now. We have Suzanne. Right, we're not alone, and Jesus does loves us, and He's there with us, right? And there's so many of us who are willing to help people, just showing up, speaking, sharing. I never realized how this became therapy for so many people. Like when people started to tell me that, they're like, "Yo, your sessions, your videos are therapy to me. They're helping me," and I'm just like, "Really?" Like, because I didn't see the value, and I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't see the value when I first started these videos. I was just doing them out of obedience, right? And so I'm going to take this time right now. I do have a community. It is for women only. So unfortunately, gentlemen, I'm still praying about it. I made the decision to make it women only. God he might change that. But I do have a community, and that community I offer we do group coaching. So similar to this, but we go a lot further. We also we also have empowerment sessions that you're able to take advantage of. You are also capable of interacting with other women. The community is, I just relaunched it at the end of 2024. And I'm just being obedient. So every time I have this, I also every month I do a promo. So for the month of March, in honor of my sister and my niece, whose birthdays are in March, I am offering 50% off for the first 3 months. For YouTube, I did drop the link, so you should see the link. That is my link tree. My link tree has access to different things. Oh, yesterday I dropped my Miss Inspiration Vibes playlist. That's completely free. It is on Spotify, so you can go over there and you can download. And that's just the inspiration that I'm using for myself over these next 21 days. But if you are looking to join Inspirational Trailblazers, you can go ahead and use that. The membership is $20 a month. So if you use this code, you would get it for $10 a month for the first 3 months. And that offer does end at the end of at the end of the month of March. So if you are looking for that, but again, my link tree overall just has my access to my books. I'm an advocate for solo dates and solo travel. I do have a free bingo card if you want to get out and start doing more things, just to enjoy life. I have a solo date night bingo card that you can go ahead and you can download that for free. I'm revamping my blog, so you can tap into my blog, and then you also can see the link for Dear Single in Love, which is my book. And you can see all the other things. So everything that's Tanisha Shanae related, you can find at my link tree. But if you are particularly interested in joining Inspirational Trailblazers, being a part of this community, you can see the ticker at the bottom. You can go there, but just make sure you use code March25 so that you can get access to that special offer as well. Suzanne, you are so welcome. I did see your last comment. And thank you for being obedient to get up out that bed. I don't know, you might still be in bed, but for tuning in, for watching, for engaging. And I just know that God wants you to do these incredible things. Don't worry about what your now look like, right? Because God is going to work through that now with you. But you also just have to just be obedient. So if you take anything from this video today, just know that just get started, right? And if you have any questions, I'm not the most savvy person when it comes to YouTube, but if you just have any simple questions, you can definitely DM me. My DM, my Instagram is at Tanisha Shanae. And it's also at Tanisha Shanae on Facebook. So you can always pop in. But the one thing I will say, one of the members did request this for Inspirational Trailblazers. They want to work on like creating digital products and journals and coloring books, and that's actually going to be one of the workshops that will take place between the end of March into April. Helping them to devise this. Hey, Miss Paula, what are our Inspirational Trailblazers just popped in? But yeah, so that's actually a workshop that is going to be coming. So if you want to get access to this workshop, you want to get access to the recordings and to some of the tools and supplies, I do encourage you, because I will have this workshop open to the general public. That's going to have a different fee, and you won't have access to, no, It will be open to the general population. It's going to be a free workshop, but they will not get access to the recordings. So there is an advantage to being a part of the community. So if that is something that you are interested, I do encourage you to join. You get all of this amazingness, and you get more as we are activating the healing, right? As we're activating the lifestyle that we truly desire and that we truly know that God wants for us. Because that's what we got to get. We got to get in alignment to the life that God wants for us. So many of us know what we want. But see, I had to let that go, and I had to get to the point where I said, God, what do you want for my life? Because He knows better than anyone, especially me. So once I got there, I share that knowledge and that wisdom, and then also helping people to just identify and tap into their purpose. So, I do a little bit of everything, but at the end of the day, I just want to be a support to individuals who truly, truly are just looking to make a change in their life and to go out there and to use the gifts that God gave them and use it at the maximum capacity that is going to be a blessing to so many other souls. So, I'm going to stop now because it's 56 minutes. We on a roll today. So I thank you all for being here with me. If you know, come back tomorrow, 7 a.m. We're here. Tomorrow will be day 10. So that means that we have 12 more days. 12 more days. And I don't know, I'm getting this feeling that this might just be what God has me to do, go back live at 7 a.m. But as I get closer to the end of the 21 days, I will be able to make that announcement officially. But, keep me in prayers as to whether or not I should continue this at 7 a.m. And if I do, I probably won't do it like on the weekends. I'll probably take a break from the weekends. But yeah, we'll see. God's will, not mine. And at that moment, have a great one. Be well, be blessed. And if you want to learn about Dear Single in Love, I'm going to leave you with a quick book review that another minister did that when she read my book. So have a good one. Have a great Saturday. Be well, be blessed, and stay tuned to this quick video before we end.
And I have the Kindle version of your book. And like I said, I highly recommend this book. It is, and I've been, since I've been in Christ, past 12 years, I've read a lot of Christian books, but this book is, relationship wise, it is what you need. So you can get the understanding of how do I choose the right person? How do I, overcome heartache, as we talked about? How do I get in the will of God? Get that book, order it, and read it, and be sure she definitely is anointed to serve God in this capacity. And we thank you.